As the AGI debate rages around it, one group thinks that they've finally put some numbers around the qualification, and GPT-5 is apparently 58% AGI. Welcome back to the AI Daily Brief. One of the things that I have said frequently on this show, including being effectively the entire theme of yesterday's show, is that when it comes to the practical, lived, applied experience of AI inside a work setting, I don't think that AGI matters. In fact, I think it is one of the more useless terms when it comes to how you think about applying AI in your daily life, or your company thinks about applying it at work. So why do definitions of AGI matter then? And the short answer is it's the exact same reason that we had that entire conversation on the show yesterday, which is that all of a sudden, progress towards AGI is going to be considered a meaningful factor when it comes to how markets should treat AI stocks. Given how much AI stocks are at the core of the entire economy right now, these otherwise nebulous definitions start to take on a greater importance. Now, of course, for those who haven't listened to yesterday's episode, AGI timelines are back in the news this week, specifically because OpenAI co-founder Andre Karpathy said that he believes the technology is still a decade away, as opposed to estimates that have it more in a year or two. Now, one critical point that came out of that conversation is that Andre actually has an extremely high bar for how he defines AGI. He said, when people talk about AI and the original AGI and how we spoke about it when OpenAI started, AGI was a system that you could go to that could do any economically valuable task at human performance or better. That was the definition. He noted that since then, the definition has been watered down to just covering knowledge work, certainly nothing like physical work. Now, knowledge work is certainly a huge part of the global economy, but at 10 to 20% of all the work in the world, at least as per his estimates, that leaves a lot off the table. Now, this is far from the only definition floating around. Way back in February of 2023, OpenAI laid out their framework for thinking about the approach of AGI. They gave a very basic definition: AI systems that are generally smarter than humans. Since then, Sam Altman has updated his thoughts. He acknowledged in February of this year that AGI is a, quote, weakly defined term, but generally speaking, we mean it to be a system that can tackle increasingly complex problems at human level in many fields. You might also hear Altman talking about AGI in reference to the 5 levels of AI framework. Now, this built off of something that Google DeepMind scientists had introduced in a November 2023 paper, but then OpenAI expanded into these 5 stages. Level 1, chatbots, which were AI with conversational language. Level 2, which were reasoners with human-level problem solving. Level 3 was agents with systems that can take actions. Level 4 were innovators, AI that can aid in invention. Level 5, organizations, or AI that can do the work of an organization. As we discussed a lot at this show, we are somewhere in the 3 to 4 range right now. Beyond that, there are a range of other definitions you might come across. Stalwart old Gardner defines AGI as, quote, the intelligence of a machine that can accomplish any intellectual task that a human can perform. Google leans into a different aspect, describing AGI as hypothetical intelligence of a machine that possesses the ability to understand or learn any intellectual task that a human being can. Amazon has another distinct focus, describing AGI as software that is, quote, able to perform tasks that it is not necessarily trained or developed for. Now, if these are one-off definitions for blog posts, one of the more prominent attempts to define and test AGI capabilities is, of course, the ARC-AGI prize. On their website, they write, the consensus definition of AGI, a system that can automate the majority of economically valuable work, while a useful goal, is an incorrect measure of intelligence. Measuring task-specific skills is not a good proxy for intelligence. Skill is heavily influenced by prior knowledge and experience. Unlimited priors and unlimited training data allow developers to buy levels of skill for a system. This masks a system's own generalization power. Intelligence lies in broad or general-purpose abilities. It is marked by skill acquisition and generalization, rather than skill itself. So they propose a better definition for AGI, AGI is a system that can efficiently acquire new skills outside of its training data. The ARC-AGI test then seeks to test 2 elements of AGI contained in the definition: the ability to acquire new skills by ensuring the tests have internal logic that can be learned, and the ability to complete tasks outside of training data by ensuring the tasks are not generally available. So these are all the things that are floating around, and you can see while they broadly get us in the right category, there are a lot of different definitions, which lead to a lot of debates, and a lot of AGI is in the eye of the beholder kind of conversations. Which, as I said, I don't think really matters for our day-to-day, but does matter when it comes to whether giant funds are going to press the sell button because they think things are overbought because we're not making enough progress towards AGI, which means all these contracts aren't going to play out the way that they want to. So this is the context into which a group of researchers working with the Center for AI Safety have attempted to nail down a common definition and a metric for assessing models as they progress. The group has produced a paper called Definition of AGI, which you can find at agidefinition.ai. In the abstract, they write, "The lack of a concrete definition for artificial general intelligence obscures the gap between today's specialized AI and human-level cognition. This paper introduces a quantifiable framework to address this, defining AGI as matching the cognitive versatility and proficiency of a well-educated adult." This group then has grounded their analysis in Cattell-Horn-Carroll theory, one of the more well-accepted models of human cognition. Applying the theory, the researchers split AI performance into 10 distinct categories: reading and writing, math, reasoning, working memory, memory storage, memory retrieval, visual, auditory, speech, and knowledge. Now, you'll note that these categories cover some of the general performance categories, things like reading and writing or math, but it also addresses a model's ability to learn and apply its intelligence to topics outside of its training data. Each of these categories has multiple subcategories that can be assessed individually. In fact, assessment was one of the main focuses of this paper. Researchers wrote, "Applications of this framework reveal a highly jagged cognitive profile in contemporary models. While proficient in knowledge-intensive domains, current AI systems have critical deficits in foundational cognitive machinery, particularly long-term memory storage." Each category was equally weighted and given a score out of 10, and researchers measured GPT-4 and GPT-5 to demonstrate the framework. GPT-4 scored 27%, while GPT-5 achieved a 58%. You can see from the two sets of results mapped out on a chart that while GPT-5 only made minor progress in knowledge, it made significantly more progress in reading and writing as well as math. What's more, GPT-5 scored in multiple categories where GPT-4 was entirely deficient. This included reasoning, working memory, memory retrieval, visual, and auditory. And while those areas of intelligence are developing in the latest models, they're still very nascent compared to, for example, math. Dan Hendricks, the director of the Center for AI Safety, commented, "People who are bullish about AGI timelines rightly point to rapid advancements like math. The skeptics are correct to point out that AIs have many basic cognitive flaws: hallucinations, limited inductive reasoning, limited world models, no continual learning. There are many barriers to AGI, but they each seem tractable. It seems like AGI won't arrive in a year, but it could easily arrive this decade." Content creator Lewis Gleason wrote, "What's powerful here is that this framework lets us track AGI like a scorecard. For the first time, we have a framework that turns AGI from a buzzword into a measurable spectrum. Instead of arguing, are we close to AGI, we can now ask, how much cognitive ground remains before parity?" Now, one of the interesting things about this framework is the focus on what's missing rather than highlighting a model's frontier abilities. Over the summer, for example, GPT-5 and Gemini 2.5 Pro achieved gold medal performances in the International Mathematical Olympiad and the International Collegiate Programming Contest. The leading models then are already at a human level, a very advanced human level when it comes to math or coding. Importantly, though, while achieving that level was a huge milestone on the path to AGI, based on this center's approach to an AGI definition, further progress in those areas isn't going to make a big difference. In contrast, audio and visual understanding is still very nascent and needs to improve dramatically before AI models could be considered anywhere close to AGI. Of course, those areas are arguably on the way. Google has made incredible strides with their multimodal models over the past year, and visual understanding seems to be developing quickly. The VO3 set of models in Sora 2 are also able to add appropriate audio to generated videos, implying strong auditory understanding. The big area that is so clearly missing, the biggest hole, by a mile, is around memory. The paper, in fact, describes this as perhaps the most significant bottleneck. Now, of course, this is a huge area of focus for the labs. Anthropic recently introduced their skills feature, which introduces a more efficient way of storing and accessing memory. But we're yet to see a model that can intelligently store and retrieve information at anywhere close to a human level. In fact, one of the things that you hear when people critique how far ahead the hype may have gotten in their estimation than where the capabilities of models are, it tends to come around to this part of cognition, where models don't have memory and they can't learn in the way that humans do. Commenting on the study's exploration of memory from the paper, Rohan Paul noted, "They show that today's systems often fake memory by stuffing huge context windows and fake precise recall by leaning on retrieval from external tools, which hides real gaps in storing new facts and recalling them without hallucinations. They emphasize that both GPT-4 and GPT-5 fail to form lasting memories across sessions and still mix in wrong facts when retrieving, which limits dependable learning and personalization over days or weeks. Anyone who has thought that they had locked in core knowledge and context about themselves with an LLM, only to have it feed you back a response that has none of that understanding built in, will understand what a big problem this actually is." Now, what's valuable about this paper is, as Gleason put it, having a framework where there's an actual trackable numeric score that people can assess progress on. For example, if all market actors accepted this framework, which of course won't happen, and then they went and looked and GPT-6 came out, instead of the inevitable endless debates about whether we had hit a wall again, theoretically you could just look and see how much it had improved from GPT-4's 27% and GPT-5's 58%. And yet at the same time, there is one highly problematic shortfall that could be very important. Again, as Rohan Paul put it, the scope is cognitive ability, not motor control or economic output, so a high score does not guarantee business value. In fact, increasingly other AGI definitions have fallen back on economic value as the most important proxy for intelligence. Sometimes that's because more complex notions like continuous learning or performing tasks outside of the training set are too difficult to define. One prominent example came from OpenAI's contract dispute with Microsoft. Their agreement originally had Microsoft losing access to OpenAI's technology once AGI was achieved. The problem was, of course, that the definition of AGI from OpenAI was pretty vague. It defined AGI as, quote, highly autonomous systems that outperform humans at most economically valuable work. The OpenAI board also had sole discretion to declare that AGI had been achieved. This was viewed as an unfalsifiable claim that could cost Microsoft tens of billions of dollars. The two companies ultimately settled on changing the definition of AGI to use a financial measurement as a proxy. They decided that AGI would be deemed to have been achieved when OpenAI developed software that could generate $100 billion in profits. Earlier this week, during the controversy around the Andre interview, Elon Musk revealed that he has a similar definition. He posted on X that AGI is, quote, capable of doing anything a human with a computer can do, but not smarter than all humans and computers combined. He said it's probably 3 to 5 years away. He also put forward his belief that Grok 5 has a 10% chance to meet this definition, and the odds are rising. Now, I think there are, of course, merits to both economic and functional definitions of AGI. The functional definition is laid out in the new paper, establishes the areas where current models are lacking and the new capabilities they will need to achieve AGI. In some ways, it functions almost as like a checklist, so we're all clear that incredibly intelligent models that forget everything at the end of the context window aren't really AGI. But at the same time, an incredibly powerful model, like Elon Musk is predicting Grok 5 will be, whether it's AGI or not, could have a profound impact on the economy. In fact, as I've said numerous times, I think that these models are having and will have a profound impact on the economy exactly as they are right now. Ultimately, I think this is an extremely useful contribution to the field. I hope that more people dig in. And if nothing else, it creates a useful heuristic for the future when inevitably we rage and scream and kick with every new model release about how some big wall has been hit. For now, that's going to do it for today's AI Daily Brief. Appreciate you listening or watching as always. And until next time, peace